Born Primitive Outdoor is proud to partner with Montana Knife Company, Marsupial Gear, Evolution Outdoors, Sheep Feet, and Capture Gear. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks to our sponsors. Welcome back to the podcast, everyone. I'm your host, Aron Snyder, and today I have good friend, I'm trying to think how long we've been friends. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We'll figure that out later. And competitive shooter, amazing hunter, both archery and rifle, but that is Jon Pynch. Jon, you've been on podcasts with me before, but I appreciate you hopping on this one.
Yeah, you bet. Good to talk with you. I think it's been, I don't know, maybe 10 years. I actually was working on a video project for that ram I shot this year, and we were looking, I found this, I had a bunch of lost videos and photos and stuff of hunts, and I found a folder with like 57,000 files I was making, and so I found a whole bunch of pictures of us from some of those first goat hunts back in the day up in Washington. It's been about 10 years now, which is crazy. Made me feel old.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I think it's probably just over 10 years or right at, but as most people have probably figured out on my end, if I've been friends with you for 10 years, that's probably going to last a lifetime, because when I don't like you anymore, I just stop talking to you. That's just kind of how I roll. It simplifies life.
I've seen it.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
Yep. Yeah.
That's what I tell people. We talk enough. I just don't get real close because I don't want to lose you as a friend. That's the theory.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, no, people have asked me about that
I'm
before.
Joking.
You might be joking, but it is very true. Like, I have learned more and more, especially recently. People say it all the time, but it is very true. Like, man, if you become an epic pain in my ass, I just don't talk to you anymore, right? I just don't. Yeah. I just kind of separate, and I've been that way for a long time. One of my best friends since, the 80s makes jokes about it because we had a friend in high school who royally fucked him and I over. And that's a guy I talk to every day, for my entire childhood. And that day that happened, I never talked to him again. And whatever's wrong with me mentally, I am very much able to turn those emotions off. Good. I thought it used to be good. It's probably bad long term, but I'm able to be like, I'm done. And
it makes things easier in some ways.
Yeah.
I guess there's a few relationships in our life that are worth fighting for, working through. But I think in a lot of ways, life's too short. There's a lot of stupid people out there. So, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. A psychologist might have a different view, but I don't know.
Yeah, either way, Jon and I still get along, so that's good. I don't know, Matt. I have only known. I don't know that Matt and I would go the distance, because I have a feeling Matt and I might start drinking, and he might, open up more maybe than I want him to, and the next thing you know, I might conk him in the head. But I do. Matt is a funny little fucker.
Yeah, Matt's a friend, a business partner. I tell Matt, I was like, dude, I don't know if I spend more time defending you or telling stories about you, but there's a lot of people that don't like Matt until you get to know Matt and you realize, he's loud online. Matt Outline is who we're talking about. He's a business partner in Mountain Forge. We travel, shoot a lot together, and he's an absolute killer. Really good guy. If you're in a jam, he'll do anything, but he ruffles some feathers online. And if you knew him, it's 95% lighthearted fun, but it just doesn't come off that way all the time.
No, I defend. I
love
defend
the guy.
Matt.
I know
a lot.
I know.
Mm-hmm. Well, Matt got in trouble, and this is Aron Snyder's take on this. This is not Jon Pynch or Matt Outline, right? But I knew Matt well enough to know who he was, and he was an amazing shot, amazing hunter back when he got in trouble. And when he did, the way that it looked like online, if I remember correctly, like the Department of Wildlife loaded up like a trailer of all of the shit he'd ever shot and confiscated it and took a photo. And and in reality, I think only one animal was taken.
It was the elk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an elk on private and whatever, stuff happens. I'm not defending it, but yeah, it did look, and I didn't know Matt then. I just knew the story. I knew kind of a little bit who he was, and we ended up,
I kept calling him
an archery thing, and
Magellan.
But it blew up.
Yeah, I was calling him Magellan. Like
his new name would be Onyx.
Oh yeah, because I mean, the bottom line or whatever is basically you can weave through this. There's public and private land where he was hunting, and he shot an elk on private. And this is, you know what? For anybody listening in, this is why Matt Allwine should have gone to one of my land navigation courses, because I could have helped him. Tell a story differently than him throwing his hands up, being like, "Well, fuck, yep, I did it."
I love it. No, they did take a lot of animals. I was like, "Where'd that one go?" He's like, "I never got it back." I was like, "You don't get that stuff back?" He's like, "I guess not." But he's also not the guy. Like, some guys, they like hunt for their trophy room. Matt is couldn't be more opposite than that. He hunts to hunt, whether the animal gets home or not. He's got one of the sickest mule deer I've ever seen. Shot it in Idaho, 220 something, typical, just a giant buck, just laying up in a pile of horns. Like, I was like, what are those forks sticking out of that? And he goes, "Oh," he climbs up there, pulls everything down. I was like, giant mule deer. He just loves the next hunt, which I appreciate. So he's not too torn up that I don't think he got some animals back. He just on to the next one, but he just loves to hunt. All he can think about.
He's a very skilled. When I say Matt is a guy, I don't know about a recurve, but I'm sure if he picked that up, he'd get at that too. But, very good with...
He would be. I've seen him shoot a slingshot. He beat me in a slingshot competition.
Just amazing hand-eye coordination. So, he's a very good hunter and woodsman. So, but he does ruffle some feathers. But I will say, some of the... okay, so now this is the way that I look at this again, like... I don't mind, and and I'm on hate pages all the time. So I mean, keep it. If somebody's making fun of someone for a legitimate, reason, I really whatever. Right now, if you start making fun of someone's fucking wife, or you go to
hitting below the belt,
that's when it bothers me, right? But like with Matt. I mean, he definitely makes fun of Vortex. He's very good at that. He had a little run-in with Tricer, and I literally was thinking, like with Tricer, was like, walk away. Like, because while
he did. It took him a while. It took him longer than I wanted. I'm like, dude, it was fun for a minute, and Drew did something he shouldn't have done and kind of really kicked the thing off, and it was fun for a minute. And I was like, okay, we're done. Like,
well, and I was thinking
move on.
Tricer to walk away more so than Matt, because Matt doesn't walk away well, right? And so, it doesn't really like benefit to poke the bear. And I mean, I've learned this the hard way, but when and I try to, contrary to, maybe popular, I try to get along with everybody as much as I can. And if I don't like you, I just don't talk to you. Right. I don't find it.
You've been a wild change the last 10 years from,
dude,
it's been impressive. You've grown. I mean, one, you like you said, you get on the hate pages. You get on the other end of it. On the come up, it's all these guys, and it's easy to talk trash until you start reading about yourself online and stuff that's not true. You're like, that never happened. So no one likes that. See that stuff. I mean, what Rogan always says, like, just don't. Never look. Don't. He tells every guest he has, do not read the comments.
And I think the way that I look at things now, which is much, much different, and I'll give a prime example. I got a text message from 3 or 4 different people about a person in Colorado that got caught poaching, some sort of poaching that we all knew. And to a certain degree, some of that, if you sent that to me, so I knew I get it. But overall, I just replied back with, I don't care. I mean, it is whatever. He got in trouble. I don't give a shit. And in my mind, I'm thinking maybe I'm busier or have been for the last decade, but I have enough problem with time management, staying online, answering questions and helping people than I do following along somebody doing something stupid. And then if you look at it, the fact of if you took all the time away from what time you took to search out whatever's going on that you deem not good, or whatever person shouldn't be in the position they're in or whatever, and you just focused on that, on you and moving yourself forward, you'd probably be a lot better off, right? And that's where I've been for the last quite some time.
Well, I mean, I guess with age doesn't necessarily always come wisdom, but I think luckily some of it does. And I think the older you get, their life's too short. Like, people do dumb stuff, but maybe not everybody can agree with this, but in my mind, the older I get, the more I see people that have been through some, bad shit. And I'm not saying don't be an idiot and put yourself through it on purpose to be an interesting person, but people that have overcome addiction problems and anger problems and built businesses and done, just that have done stuff. That's impressive. Like, people that come out the other end of bad stuff, like all the best comedians are disastrous upbringings and childhoods and stuff. And they I don't know what it is. If human nature of going through bad stuff makes good people. And so the older I get, the more I'm yeah, people screw up, but let's see what he does. Is he going to be a poacher for the next 30 years, or did he get caught, or whatever? I mean, life is just fall apart, all kinds of stuff. Life's life. And so, I don't know, this is kind of a weird angle on this podcast, but
it'll go a different, for everybody listening in, it will go a different direction soon.
Yeah, a bunch of guys talking about psychology that have no business talking about psychology, especially me. Oh my gosh. Well, so, I don't know. I just think interesting. The older you get, the more interesting people have gone through stuff. And that's just what I think. So
no, and I think that on the poaching side of things, and I've gotten bashed for having quote unquote poachers on a podcast, asking them hey, what happened or whatever else. And the thing is, forgiveness is not it's
not an endorsement.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, is when you forgive someone or say accidents happen, you're not supporting them in the sense of oh yeah, I agree, they should have done that. What you're saying is basically, still a good dude, did his time, was he robbing women and children? Prime example, and I'm not going to mention any names, I know 2 specific companies who have owners that have paid the federal government millions of dollars for not good things, right? And that's overlooked, and no one talks about that. One of them specifically was basically racketeering, taking, money or what. Anyway, and it's I don't, did they make a mistake? Did they? I don't give a shit. Right? Whatever. You can still be a good person that has a bad past. And
100%.
The other thing too,
100%.
Anybody that says they haven't poached, I find that hard to believe, whether you meant to or not.
And define poaching and break it. If you hunt a lot, they're hard to keep up with. And I'm not defending serial poachers and whatever. This is a weird, again, not my wheelhouse, but you can't. There's so many rules. Shooting hours change. I mean, you could go in the weeds. I mean, there's blatant driving around, sneaking, spotlighting, there's blatant poaching, and then there's accidental rules, but those lines get blurred when the headlines come out. So caught for whatever, big headlines go across everywhere, and it turns out it's some petty rule. He bought his hunting license, 6 hours late, or I don't even know. I'm not going to throw examples out there, but stuff gets pretty petty, and people love to talk trash online, which I'm business partner with a guy that loves it, and it's entertaining. That's why the internet's kind of fun and kind of annoying at the same time. So,
yeah. Well, and I think anything, whether it's poaching or a mistake, whatever the case may be, I mean, people make, mistakes, and forgiveness is not high in the thing to do list for a lot of people in the outdoor world. I have found. And that's not...
Is this when I tell everybody I've been poaching the last 10 years?
Well, that's
coming out of the closet.
That's the thing, though, right? It's I mean, I've done illegal shit, right? There's no fucking way around it. Especially when I was younger, but I read about myself now. And one guy specifically I really feel kind of bad for his wife, because I'm pretty certain he thinks of me when he's leaving her. But when you... Whoa, what was that? When you... Are you there?
Yeah, there you are.
Oh,
no, you cut out. You
Brad,
cut out right when something about his wife. I was
Brad,
like, oh, God cut you off.
Brad from Argali was trying to call in. Brad, who's a great human from Argali. Anyway, but no, I was saying something about, I'm pretty sure he thinks of me when he's sleeping with his wife, so I feel bad for his wife. But, you know, I'm a roided out poacher. You know, all my animals I've shot with a gun. And I mean, crazy shit, right? And so...
That's wild.
And I don't... You know, I get screenshots of this and I don't really, I mean, it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. But one of the things is I've been very candid about, you know, I did steroids in the past and I'm on TRT now. Yeah. I'm a very much a proponent if you need testosterone replacement therapy to do that. And then,
oh, for sure.
But the thing is like, if someone, you know, certain people think if they shouted it long enough, somebody will believe it. Well, if any of that was true in my case, I'm very good at my job then because I'm almost 50 and I've never had a ticket, right? I shot a squirrel with Gritty and turned myself in. That's very pathetic. But I'm sure I've been investigated, but like it's formally investigated, no tickets, no anything else. And obviously there's been a lot of people around when I shoot animals. So what do you do? Well, in my case, I don't do anything but just keep doing me because you can't do anything about that. But there are people that leave in the morning wanting to poach, right? There's 100%. And then there's people that, you know, are out with no intention of poaching. And on the right side of the road is your unit. On the left side is not. And on the left side, there's a 200-inch mule deer and it's like a prostitute on the corner. You can't say no and you make a mistake, right? I have forgiveness for that category and I have forgiveness for the category of the people, you know, they just accidentally, you know, the first one, sometimes it's pretty hard to change stripes on a zebra. That may never change. It may change, but like, you know, but it's just weird because nobody really is maybe as forthcoming as they should be about their own deficiencies in life when they're online, I guess.
No, it's weird. Hunting is getting weird. In a lot of ways, and the money separating stuff, tags separating stuff, and so then anytime a big guy gets, you know, a bigger guy gets busted, that's had some cool opportunities. Like, I mean, it's just easy. It was where our nation, our culture, it's like pretty. I mean, it's low hanging fruit. So it's strange, but even like right now, like we're working on. I don't know. It's not private. We're working on finishing up film from that Rocky I shot. And I got that raffle tag, and even like talking about that on the film is tough because it's you know, there's governor tag, which is obviously debated with Arizona, and Jimmy John's been in the news and in regards to Arizona getting rid of gov tags, and there's like this hatred towards that. And it's kind of, for me, like I'm in a weird spot with that situation because I don't have a bunch of money, but I've been out some opportunities that take money and winning that raffle tag. And we're talking about this sheep and talking about the raffle tag. And I know there's going to be people that come out just hating on that because I won a raffle tag. And it is weird. Like, it's just, I don't know what that is in humans. I mean, we all have our own things, but like, people like to stir the pot. I think what I have a problem is I give credit. Every comment you read online, you're like, you just assume it's a normal healthy person without realizing there's a bunch of insane people in their mom's basement. So I think that's probably my downfall. Is like, consider the source.
That is a fact, and that's why I just don't pay attention. But I mean, actually, we'll transition into what I had you on the podcast before from this. Yeah. I posted a couple misses from a client recently, and that went viral. And that
hurt me.
And it was weird because I had a few friends message me about, you know, fuck those guys talking shit, whatever. And I'm reading through the comments, and I'm like, really, they're not. Pretty much what I expected. I didn't think there was anything overly out of hand in the comment section. You know what I mean? Like, a couple people thought I was the one taking the shot. But I mean, overall, I didn't see anything on there that I was like, oh my goodness. I mean, it basically was like, I suck, he sucks, whatever.
Yeah.
Jon is an amazing shot. Jon has been on a ton of hunts, and Jon has helped out on a lot of hunts. And there was one specific guy, and I mentioned this on a podcast that I had done by myself, talking about the hunt from gear to what happened and everything else, that had messaged me about client shaming. And it was basically, I don't take to client shaming. I thought you were the great Aron Snyder, traditional archer, whatever, that kind of a thing. And there's some validity to what he was saying, depending upon how you took my post. And my post, I just said, know your weapon, boys and girls. And pretty much when I post stuff now, I don't do clickbait and shit, and whatever. My following would be much bigger if I did. It's always to learn something. And
and that is a freaking lesson right there, boys and girls.
The two things as a client that you can help most your guide, the two things you can do are physical fitness and your shooting ability. Those are the two. Would you agree with that?
Oh, 100%. Just be able to walk with us, and when you tell you to shoot, and hit the same.
Well, and when
that's all you got to do. I mean, if you don't know, it's great if a guy knows how to judge animals, if he's self-sufficient with his food and his campsite and everything else. All those things are great, but you can handle those. I can't pull the trigger for you, and I can't carry you because I'm carrying all my own stuff, and I'm not a big guy to start with. You probably could carry some guys, but yeah, 1,000%.
So along the lines with that, my point to that post, know your weapons, boys and girls, because it took 25 years to draw that tag, that if, now I'm a freak and Jon is too, as far as I shoot, not a gun as much, but a bow every day, want to be extremely proficient. And even for my redneck ass, thank God I can at least shoot. But I call Jon or my buddy Wally when I'm dialing my rangefinder in and marrying it up to my scope or my how would I explain that? Whatever, my ballistic, what do you call that in the rangefinder? Your
I mean, if you're just setting up your ballistics to match your rifle in the field, so when you range 400 yards, the correction in your binos match what your gun should shoot. So just pairing up everything, making your drops work.
Ballistic profiles in the rangefinder for each of my guns. And so, in this case, and the dude was an amazing dude, great guy. He had Carhartt insulated jacket, a duster, and Carhartt pants, and 1,000-gram thinsulate boots. And this was a serious hunt. I mean, this was a no fuck around hunt. And so throughout the course of the day, you're left with the option of, do you leave him, go find sheep, try to come back to get him, because you'll smoke him down physically. And so
how old was he?
45.
Okay.
And so, the thing that I'm really, wanting people to think about with this is what's most important to pay attention to. And shooting is a big one. And so obviously we had asked him, and I'm very good out to 500, whatever. But monetarily speaking, like what gear you can afford, not everybody can afford a custom gun. But what I can say is, if I would have had my gun, one of my guns, one of your guns, and I had that married up, to the rangefinder, it would have died, because at 400 to 500 100%. For me, and I'm not Jon Pynch and I'm not a sniper, turkeys will die, maybe a grouse. 450 is not a chip shot, but when you practice it, it's kind of a chip shot.
As long as there's not crazy wind or something extreme, that should be a very, very straightforward position, a straightforward shot from a thrown position. Anybody should be able to make that with a little bit of practice.
Now, I had messaged you and Wally, and when you had messaged me back, the miss had already happened, to confirm what I thought I knew, which was at 458 or 62 yards, whatever it was, at a 20-degree angle, would there be a deduction for the angle more so than what my rangefinder gave me? And I'm like, what's that?
No, keep going.
Well, no, I didn't think there was, but I am not, the way that
not enough to miss like you missed. Like when you sent me those shots, I was just dumbfounded. I was like, oh, that's not even in the zip code. I mean, that wasn't even.
Yeah, well, and as a guide, I felt horrible because he missed, and he, potentially going home without anything, certainly on that hunt. Two, I felt like, my God, I killed myself to get this sheep, and it's not, and I'm competitive, right? Whether you competitive against yourself or whatever, like there's a goal and you want to achieve that goal.
Yeah, for sure.
So this guy had a Browning A-bolt and a Vortex Diamondback scope.
Oh man.
And so, and so like I had a lot of feedback of you shouldn't have let him take in the shot. And I'm like, look, if the guy zeroes and he looks good on the gun, and he, you know what I mean, not flinching and everything else, and he says he can hit to 5, I'm going to believe him. Now, there were people that had said, you know, whatever a client says, he should have to be able to shoot out to that distance and prove it to you. That's a difficult road to hoe, because when are you going to have time to do that? Where? Or do you just stop the whole pack train and wing some bullets halfway in on the pack end to make sure he can you know, show? I mean, I'm not saying one's right or wrong, but it's difficult. And so to me, you know, did the gun get bumped? I haven't talked to him. He came over to the house the next day and hung out for a little bit after we got back. But the reality is like when you're going on a hunt like this, you really should look at like what is going to matter the most for the success of your hunt. And I'm going to let you take it for a minute, but fitness and shooting, obviously, but take it from there on the gun side specifically.
Yeah. I mean, what you said about, you know, on the pack end, anywhere you can shoot, I do agree with, if you can do it. If, you know, you have that discussion. I haven't been in that situation for a while because, you know, most people I hunt with, you know my background. And so, but even then, we just got back from the territories. I was in Africa for a month. I was home for like 3 days, and we went up to the territories on a doll hunt for Ben. So I've got the gun. I set the gun up. I go out to the range, shoot the gun. So I know if I can get Ben prone, he'll pull a great trigger. If the gun shoot, he'll shoot. And so I just go out and check it. But, you know, just I want to check the gun everywhere. So I check after a flight. If we have we hunted one spot for 4 days, or 3.5 days. We were moving that evening, and, you know, you get the gun out and take a shot at a rock. You know, I like to go 400 and out on the long range side of things. So, like, I would like a shot 400 to 600 yards if you can. Throw your, you know, I just throw my spotter up, throw the all-in on it, and all-in, whatever how you pronounce it, and take a shot. And 99% of the time, everything's good when you have a good system, good rings, good scope. Everything you said about the equipment, I mean, if you're running a Diamondback, you probably also running crappy rings. You're also running factor bases, may not be Loctited. Like there's so many variables. It's like when you're putting together a bow, you're torquing everything. You do your Loctite, you do whatever. You mark your knock points. You're marking peeps to get everything as consistent, stable, durable as possible. That's the same with guns, where they're glued or bedded or integrated rails with solid rings and a good scope. And there's so many variables, but I absolutely agree with when guys say shoot the gun. Like I would have, if I was taking a guy like that and he showed me that, well, one, I would have, like, you're shooting my gun. So I could probably wouldn't have happened. But I'm so paranoid about that. We just took a guy to Africa and he shot 30 some animals with one of our guns. And I was setting them up on every one, but I was checking that gun every, few days. It was always perfect. But I'm just super paranoid about just equipment, because it's got to be precise. So yeah, I think in an ideal world, you get to a trailhead and you find, if you're hiking in 6 miles, you're a half mile in and you see a cut bank, 300, 400, 500 yards across the hill. Okay, shoot that white rock and that sand bank. Like, yes, that's ideal. He's 3 feet off. Well, hey, look, we got problems. You either pack out and fix it, or you fix it on the spot. So I would recommend having an Allen wrench to adjust your turret. Obviously, everything needs to be torqued before you go. There's a lot of ways you could take this discussion, but
I'll tee you up some more.
A hunt, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll tee you up some more softball. So to me, I'm generally not, you're not always going to be able to use a bipod. You know, a lot of times you may shoot off a rock or you may shoot off of your pack or whatever, but bipods now, and please everybody keep in mind, I'm an archer.
I'm disagreeing with you already, but keep going.
Yeah. So, but you know, well, yeah, let me finish. You know, I'm an archer, but I think bipods nowadays are light enough. You should have one. You know, if you would have said that to me 10 years ago, I'm like, nah, don't worry about it. But they're light enough now that you can get, I don't know all the major names. I've got a couple lightweight ones. I actually have the little stubby tricer thing they just sent me. I've got the New Zealand gear tripod. There, ton of light ones. So I think everybody should have a tripod. I also feel everyone should have an Arca Swiss plate type of or Arca Swiss type plate, or your stock should be, so you can mount it to your tripod, not your bipod. So you can mount it to your actual tripod that's for your spotter. The next, and when I say that, meaning, and I think you were going to argue with me, but I think we're agreeing. Bring a bipod.
No, we're agreeing. Okay. We're agreeing.
And so with that, also, I don't pack sandbags into the wild, right? But I think that you should practice with a field expedient sandbag, meaning a puffy jacket, you know, stuffed in its stuff sack on the buttstock, you know, or putting whatever underneath it to get used to that type of a rear bag. Yes. That type of shooting position and everything else. And so if you haven't done any of that, or you're listening to me and you're like, no, like go shoot a group with the things I'm 100%. Talking about, and then shoot one with.
No, I mean, you guys come into camps like, I just like to use my backpack. I was like, there's no reason anymore. I mean, the NZ gear, MDT bought them out, and so now they're selling that bipod. But that mountain bipod weighs 5.5 ounces. And it's really good. It's what we just shot that sheep off of up, and Ben just shot a really nice doll at like not super 440 some yards or something. But just there's a lot of bipods. They pan out super low. They can go narrow and tall. They're very adjustable. They're lightweight. 100% on the rear bag. Like I carry a little bag that weighs an ounce and a half. That works really well. I've also just, like, I'll be laying there ranging with my binos, and I'll unput my bino harness and flip it up, and I'll use it, like, because I'm already prone. I'll just unput my bottom ones and flip it up as a rear bag. I've done that multiple times. Anything for rear. When that guy missed, was he missed way low and way high, or vice versa?
He missed high the first shot by what I had assumed was 3 feet. And then the next one, he was about at the knee, and we were not rushed. We had time. The problem, and we'll get into the reason why you might have to take a far shot in mountain hunting. You know, not everybody can kill one with a stick bow, and honestly, some animals are smart enough; they are impossible.
And the location.
Location. Yeah. So, but we'll get to that in a sec. But we had he didn't have a bipod. He didn't have really anything up front, and so we had padded up everything up front to get him in line. And I'm assuming, because we had some padding in the rear, that he may give her the old what for right when he shot and popped it high, and so. As we're talking about this, like the bipod, the shooting bag, not just having these things, but applying them. Yeah, because you've been to my house. I'm lucky. I got a Canyon. I can. Yeah. Now I don't fuck with it as much as I used to, because I've done it enough now to where, don't get me wrong, I'll do drills all day long, but like with Mishka, my girlfriend, or I'll have guys coming out that need help, and I'm like, look, I'm not the high-end gun guy, but what I can get you ready for is hunting situations and different modified positions you may be shooting in, and we'll just bang out rounds. And generally, if they're real shaky, I start with a Ruger 1022, and I just get them to pump rounds down range. So they get more comfortable. They get used to fucking with the scope, like as far as dialing back, target acquisition, bring them up into a bigger and bigger caliber to where they can do more and more. So I'm going to hand you this in a second. To me, personal opinion, from 0 to 100 to 150 yards, but certainly 100, you should be able to bang out offhand groups well inside of a paper plate, certainly a softball, with enough practice offhand. And if you can't shoot offhand, you better fucking practice, because it will, if you're jump shooting, a lot of people call it, right? You're going in, shit jumps up. Yeah, you want to practice shooting that way. And then after that, modified positions, dropping to a knee, having a rock there, whatever. And I'm going to let you take it from here. But without practicing those, guaranteed you're going to run into those issues. You're not going to know what to do. But go ahead.
Yep. No, I agree. I mean, I think keeping in freehand is crazy, and I don't practice that much. But I have been more. We were in Africa. I made a lot of Africa's a different world than Western big game hunting. I mean, you are close range, there's brushy, you're freehand, you're tripod standing, a bunch of stuff we don't do here very much, especially in the mountains. But people don't practice freehand. It's not fun. I think the 22 thing is a super good idea. 22 to 23, anything really. It's just more fun and cheaper practice with smaller stuff. But paper plate for sure. I mean, I bet there's not that in reality. If we lined up 100 guys listening right now, and you tried to keep 5 shots inside of a softball at 100 yards, I'll bet 5 guys would do it. Maybe it depends on who it was, but not very many guys would even do that good. So, I mean, that would be great. I hardly ever see that kind of performance when guys shoot freehand, because every once in a while we'll have that in comps. They'll have a freehand target or something, and it just everyone complaining about it all the time. I'm like, dude, it was 200 yards away, and it was giant. It was 100% IPSC or something. You cannot miss that. But so yeah, for sure. Paper play, you just think vitals, see how far you can shoot a vital shot, so in the field. It's not a good feeling when you step up on an animal and you're like, well, I hope I can do this, instead of, well, I've done this 500 times, practice. This is not a big deal. It's a big difference in the mental state of killing something. So, but yeah, the being able to, we talk about gear, right? So there's the bipods, the tripods, the ARCA rails, good scopes and rails, and all that stuff's meaningless without practice. 3 weeks ago, we had a guy whose dream was to kill a doll sheep that lives up here in the Northwest. A lot of those places up there are pretty booked out, and we got him a cancellation spot, or got him a spot for this year. He went up there. We got an in-reach when we were coming back from Africa. He was a rev off, I think, on his windage turret. I haven't even got all the details, and I don't really want to talk to him because he's heartbroken. He ended up shooting a 3-year-old ram, a terrible shot, missed his target ram by a long ways. I guess it was 7-8 feet. I talked to the guide when we were up there. Didn't mortally wound it. They didn't think. It was up high above the spine. And that was his hunt. Those are not cheap hunts. And that was not because he didn't have the right gear in that case. It's because in my mind, and I don't want to throw him under the bus, I don't know all the details, but for one, you didn't check your gun for sure. Visually, if your turret spun, but just doing reps. So I like when guys shoot. I like when guys, man, I'm a proponent of comps. I've been seeing more and more guys at these NRL hunter comps that aren't going to be comp guys and compete a lot or do the circuit or do anything like that, which is great. But there's one, within 5, 6, 7 hours drive of them, which is about everywhere now. And they can hit one a year. And that is such a good refresher, put people under stress. They're going to make a ton of errors. They're going to misdial. They're going to have their dials messed up. They're not going to, they're going to mess up their reloads. They're going to short strokes. They're going to build bad positions. They're going to do everything wrong that they can do. But you're getting it out of the way in a situation that doesn't matter compared to a hunt. And so, I mean, the mistakes on these things are endless. But it's like one thing. It's oh man, a guy goes out. He goes, I missed a buck in the back. The back 40. Versus when you see guys when you sent me the video of that hunt, my heart sank. I was like, that because I know how long it takes to get a tag in Wyoming or a sheep tag anywhere. And the same thing for this guy. This was his time to do a doll hunt. He saved up. He was going to do a doll sheep, and that was his hunt. And it's so easy to, hindsight 2020, and it's so easy to fix. They're little tiny things, but they're like, he'll never forget it. Like the most significant hunting mistake of his life. On the doll side, is this Rocky guy? Does he get to go again? You think he'll kill a sheep?
He's got quite a bit of time left in the season. I've got to talk to him and the outfitter because if I have time, would like to take him back in, somewhere. Okay. And as we're talking about this and going back to the client shaming or not client shaming, you take it however you want. Like if it was client shaming, the bottom line is, if you have to touch the stove to learn, then so be it. You got to touch the stove. But if I don't put this out there and I don't talk to you and people don't see that shot and make them think, fuck, could that happen to me? Right. So if I post,
for sure can.
Well, and that's the thing. If I posted that and say, hey, couldn't get the client close enough, which is obviously implied because we took the shot and obviously I couldn't get him closer than that. This was a shot we had. Make sure, maybe I should have worded it differently, but bottom line, people have to see, in my opinion, things like that to make them think, oh shit, could that be me? And then how do you fix it? And one of the things I talked about on the podcast before, and it was just me, was there's a lot of money spent on a lot of things that aren't nearly as important as paying to go to a shooting school, paying to go to, like, we do the backpacking courses and the stalking courses. Like, that's the best way to do it. And I don't do the rifle shooting courses as much because I honestly get frustrated at them a little bit easier. I'm much more patient with, but like when I'm like, okay, right here, offhand, paper plate, 1 o'clock, 100 yards, kill it. And then sprint forward, drop into the prone. Okay, 400 yards, 230, 400 yards out. And I'm like, dial your fucking scope back. The fuck, and I get mad because I'm like, we just taught you this. And blunt force trauma and repetition are the two ways to learn. So unless you want me hitting you in the back of the head, you need reps. And if you don't take those reps, you're going to fail.
Yeah. And that's what, reps are everything. I was talking to, we're building mountain forts, and Matt and I learn a lot. And trying to figure out kind of direction business is going with, with selling hunting rifles, but then getting requests for training. So we're doing those kind of unofficially, where we haven't advertised any classes, but we really, really need to. We're looking at a piece of property that's awesome to do that on. We have an offer in on it. They countered, kind of working on it. It's a beautiful chunk. I hope we can get it, but I approached some big time outfitters in Canada, Yukon, NWT, and BC last year at some shows. I was like, hey, if we did something like this, what does this look like? How could this help you? How could we help each other? If you referred, and just kind of talking through ideas. And a bunch of the guys, really just big names, guys I really like, they're like, we don't want anything. We want to send our guys to you because you'll make our job easier. The biggest problem we have is getting guys in position and then blowing the shots. Can't find the animal in the scope. And this isn't even long range. This is basic shooting. And so I was like, okay, cool. So, head spinning, gears are going. There's a lot of courses, but like Matt and I have some ideas that would be pretty fun to run guys through. And it would be maybe a combination of blunt force trauma and reps. We'll see. But that's, you have to have it. You can't, and it's the same with fitness. Like I hate working out. I hate running the hill with weight. But you have to do it. I think shooting is way more fun than working out. So if guys can get in shape, they can certainly spend some time and effort getting ready to shoot. But,
So let's go back to, because the shooting school, I'm with you, because like because I would send a ton of people to you, because rewinding back to what causes maybe you to have to take a farther shot, and let's just consider for those listening in, because this is not a far shot for Jon or even myself, but past 350, let's just say now. a ton of people were asking me about the caliber, the rifle, the scope, the whole, everything they should be. But whether you're a 6.5 Creedmoor hater or 6.5 PRC, or you need to shoot a 30 caliber or whatever else, doesn't matter. I don't give a shit about the caliber. I've seen some big shit die from a fucking AR, right? Like, so when you're looking at specifically, and I already talked about this, the way these sheep were, there was 2 rams. One looked to me to be a shit curl 8-year-old, and the other one was 9 or 10, low 160s. The one he missed, we figured him right in that 162, 63 range. Maybe could have got a little more. Either way, they were very smart. And when you're mountain hunting, specifically sheep and mule deer, goats sometimes, you may have to shoot across the canyon, because if you climb down the canyon, they will see you and then they run away. It's pretty common sense. And when they're across the canyon, I will say from a guide perspective, and there's plenty of people more experienced in guiding than me, is when we roll up and I'm like, man, the closest we can get is 500. And the guy's like, okay. And he's folding out the bipod, grabbing his shit. And I'm like, oh, thank God, we're going to fucking hit it. Right. But if you say 500 and the guy's kind of looking around and he's trying to, I'm like, shit.
It's not going to happen.
So what are some of the different circumstances your mountain goat I was with you on? We weren't getting close to that thing. There wasn't no way that the ability, whether you agree with it or not, to be able to, and I'm going to say 350 to 5, we'll just cap it at 5. The ability to shoot to 500 yards on a sheep and high country mule deer hunt, even mountain goat, is very, very important to me. Now, take it from there, but I don't think 500 is out of the question. If you were able to afford the hunt, or you had to borrow a gun or whatever, I don't think 500 is out of the question. But kind of take it from there. Distances, what you think is realistic, why certain situations might call for a farther shot.
Yeah, I mean, terrain dictates and fitness dictates. I've been with guys that don't have the time and fitness. They don't have 10 days, 2 weeks, and the fitness to climb into a position. Hopefully, the animal moves the right way to make a 100-yard shot. Or in archery, right? You can't force things. They got to be in a stockable place. They got to be in the right spot. So some guys don't have the time or the fitness to do multiple stocks. They've got one good push in them and they're smoked. And like when I'm doing more, I've done more and more helping on hunts and kind of co-guiding, whatever you want to call it, stuff like that. And so, when you said you get competitive, like I get real competitive in some ways more than when I'm hunting, because it's more of a challenge to like, I know I can just lay down and kill this thing right here, but like, okay, can we get you set up? Can we make you take a shot? And you get with some guys, you're like, hey, we can't drop in here day after day hoping for a 100-yard shot when they hit this saddle or water or whatever.
Let me rewind, John. That is exactly what we were doing. I was having to drop this poor bastard down 2,000 feet in elevation every day in hopes they would come back out where we had seen them come out. And they weren't coming out there. And so you have the decision, do we drop camp? And if we drop to the bottom, if a ram is seen up top, this is just physics and human nature. It's harder to climb back up than it is to run down, right? And so,
100%.
So, and then, and again, I'm not making excuses for my shitty ability to guide. I'm just saying what happened, okay? So I'm like, okay, this is a tough decision. If I'm down here and Blake spots a ram up top, how much can I push this guy? I had already taped his feet and Leuco tape and everything else. How much can I push him? The next thing was I ended up going way left to where I could see the entire face where these sheep would be. And I went by myself because I didn't want to smoke them down, found them on the face. And there was no way to get a shot from above, so we had to wait till they crossed. But go ahead, and because that's what you said was what was happening. I was dropping this poor fucker down the mountain every day in hopes for a 150-yard shot.
Yeah. So there's that, and that's why I don't want to defend. I don't want to be guys like, oh, you're lazy, whatever. Sometimes it depends on who you got. Like the idea of sticking around and stalking and making an archery shot or a close rifle shot, I'm all about it. I'm not like long range or nothing. Like I don't like those kind of people. Like I think that's not a great message in the hunting world. So I just prefacing with like, you get in situations where you got to do what you did. And I would say, 15, 20 years ago, maybe further now, 400 yards. Like, well, that's not ethical. Well, now I think that's 350 to 5, like what you said, with somebody with the correct equipment and a little bit of time spent with them. I feel more comfortable getting them that animal killed than I do at 80 or 100 or 120. I think I've talked about this with you in the past on some hunts I helped with where we got a girl into like 87 yards with a rifle on a ram, couldn't find the scope, couldn't shimmering around, making noise, ends up blowing them out because we're too close. Like, obviously, if you know you have your 4-power, boom, you do, but you don't. You got your new hunter and you're trying to get the situation taken care of, end up killing the ram at 600 yards, prone, calm, everything's great. So, I'm not this, I don't want to come off as like this long range preacher with this all long range. I'm not about that. I'm about killing animals. I'm about doing it ethically. And I think what you said, that 350 to 5, and even say 3 to 5, like 300 is not, that's a little bit of a poke for especially traditional gear. From years and years ago, 300. Oh man, that's a long shot. So 300 to 500. That's a really good range that opens up a ton of terrain. You can almost always get into that, 400 or 500 yard range with terrain, and it's a very, very ethical shot, in my opinion. With the amount of people I've worked with, the amount of shots I've taken, things have to go dramatically wrong with that range of shot from a solid position. In my mind, that's prone for most people. Like, I don't really want to put a guy on a tripod at 500 yards if he hasn't practiced that a lot. You need reps on a tripod, like a kneeling tripod. It's stable, but like you said, you take that, oh my gosh, here it goes, you yank it. Like, it's pretty easy to shank a shot off a tripod. It's tough if you're in a solid prone position to shank a shot. Like, you can have a pretty bad trigger pull and kill that ram. And so those ranges open up a lot of things, and I think it's very, very ethical. And you guys, like, I was preaching the choir to some of these guys listening. Like, yeah, that's 500 yards. I do that with my eyes closed. Yeah, I get it. But there's other guys, with your archery crowd, it's like, that's not ethical. That's a long range or whatever. So,
believe me, I had hundreds and hundreds of messages. Not just there was a few hundred posts, but of. Majority, I didn't count them, 80% were that's a chip shot, 10% general questions, and then 10% were like, he should never have taken that shot. So leaving all of that out, right? But like, let's just, whatever. Like the thing that you really need to look at, and I was, me being the smart ass I am, as we're looking, these sheep went to the bottom. And I pinned them where they were at. I got Blake and the client. And if you haven't guided, and I love guides' perspectives, because if you haven't guided, I'm not crying on a pillow, right? But there's a lot of stress for a guide. You want the dude to succeed, right? So I'm texting Blake through get the fuck down here now. I think we got him. I think we can get an angle. Climbed up, couldn't get the angle, and I'm like, man, they bedded right there, and I'm pointing down. I'm like, that's 380. Let's pray to God they come out right there. They didn't. Yeah. They went down and bedded right on the edge of the timber on this big, giant granite rock, which is the fucking mountain range is a granite rock. So, I'm like looking, and I'm like, we're like, fuck, you think we can get down? I'm like, oh, I'm sure the sheep are going to be like, oh, look, those guys are peaceful now. Yeah, they're going to let us just walk straight down the fucking boulder field to get I'm like, no, we're fucked. This is it. We are as close as we're getting. So then you're like, okay, do we wait? Will they come back? Maybe, but probability says, especially on the last day of your hunt, they're probably... You don't change the stripes on the zebra. If they keep going in and out of the timber, probably going in the timber. That's where they're going. And that's the direction they were heading, which is why we chose to make that shot. And again, the thing is if you have the physical ability to run them down, and when not run them down, but you know what I mean, find them.
100%.
100%, you're probably going to get a closer shot if you have that physical ability. If you don't, but you have that shooting ability, and again, I said 350 to 5, 3 to 5, it opens up in the right circumstances. It opens up so much more for the ability for you to not just make the guide's life easier, but to bring your animal home. And so you look at it like with drilling, whether it's archery or rifle, we have a horrible stories about we're driving the Can-Am, whatever, ethical or not, giant mule deer, totally legal, right? Giant mule deer, 140 yards chasing does. And I'm like, all right, shoot this motherfucker. Hold on, let me get my trigger stick. I'm like, what? Fucking kill it. Hold on. And they're fucking getting in the back of the Can-Am, moving packs to get this stupid trigger stick thing or whatever you call it. And it's like, okay.
I shot my first animal off trigger sticks in Africa, by the way. You're making me laugh. I shot it.
Well, I'm just like, well, I just like, look, I get it. And don't get me wrong. I've got it set up on a monopod that I use for my big camera lens that you can also, it's got a cradle that you can, but adds a little more stability. The bottom line is if the 3.5 minutes to find the trigger stick is what you need to kill that animal, maybe 3.5 hours of practicing shooting off of something other than a trigger stick might have been more beneficial, is kind of my point.
Yep. I think there's so many, 100%. I mean, people don't practice enough. Like all the guys, there's all the stories of guys, I've had this box of shells for 5 years. I take 2 shots in the beginning of the season at my target, and I shoot 1 at my deer. And that does work. Everything's normal, but it's just, I don't know. Like if you're just back 40 and you're trying to fill the freezer with a forked horn, like I don't care. Like miss one, shoot one. Like as long as you hit it in a good spot, like that's fine. But like you owe it to yourself to like. I'm glad you posted that video. I didn't know if you were going to. You had sent it to me, and I saw it, and I saw you posted it.
Oh, I contemplated it for a minute. That
next day.
Yeah, believe me, I contemplated
it. And if the guy's willing to go hunting with you again, he's obviously, you didn't plan shame him too much if he still likes you. So that's between you and him. It's a great lesson. It's painful to see it. You can only learn it when you see it because a video is worth 10,000 words. And so you see that, and everybody knows the significance of that. It was a beautiful round. You could tell by the terrain you're not going to skip down that hill and shoot them. It was fun. It was good for me to watch because you see all these, you see all this long range stuff online, and you don't see that. People don't post that stuff, and that's stuff that happens. And so, or that can happen when you're not, you haven't prepared with the right equipment and yourself. So I was glad you posted it. I don't know if I was surprised. It didn't come off as client shaming to me at all. It wasn't like you tagged the guy and said, "Look at this guy, you suck."
No, and it was when I was contemplating on posting it, my thing when I post anything is either going to be to make fun of myself, promote something I like, just a post because fucking algorithm, or to learn something. And so when I was sitting there, I was like, this is the best video footage that you could post to put somebody in front of somebody's eyes to think, oh shit, that could be me. Oh yeah, I better go hit the range or whatever. Because again, when I messaged the guy back,
it did that to me. I felt I was like, oof. Because you're like waiting. Like I had a rodeo last year. I don't know if we talked about it. Like on my doll sheet. I got him killed quickly, but it didn't go as planned. And I'm like, I talked to the guy. Like he's like, because it was like 900 yards. Like, just shoot it. I'm like, because he knew who I was. I was like, I'm not just going to shoot it. The wind's howling. Like we can get closer. Close the distance. And I said, I was making a joke. I was like, I've had way too many perfect one-shot kills. Like a lot the last 8 years. I was like, I am due for a rodeo. Kind of jinxed myself because we had one. I mean, it was 3 rounds downrange. I was out of shells running down the hill for my pack because we crawled up over this ledge, grabbed 3 more, got the round kill. I mean, it was 20 seconds, whatever. But it was, it was this big updraft. The first shot was wild, and we had some real nasty weather. It was wet. My muzzle was taped. I couldn't really troubleshoot it. The gun was hammering. Like I checked it all later. Checked it before we went out. Checked it later. But stuff happens, and so when you posted that, like it hit me, and I shoot as much as anyone, and I was like, geez, because it's just stuff happens. Stuff happens with archery. Stuff happens with everything. And so I love the reminder.
Let me we'll go over what was happening while we're there, right? So now keep in mind, I had marked these sheep where they dropped in these terraced cliffs from a different angle. So I'm a mile left when I spot them, but I'm, I like to pretend I know what I'm doing. So like I marked where they were and everything else. So when I got to Blake and the client, I'm like, dude, here's a photo right here. We can see they're right here, right? And he's like, yep, I agree. And I'm like, man, I don't think they shit out the top or the bottom on me. I don't see how they could have got away. They've got to be in the cliffs. And so we're like contemplating, do we try to get closer? And Blake's eyes bug out. He's like, they're on the fucking rock right now looking at us. And I'm like, what? And so I low crawl up, which I hate low crawling, and grab the binos. And I'm like, man, I don't know if they're looking at us. I think they're just looking back this way. I think we're good. So there was a little more movement, not like we were standing up flagging ourselves, but I mean, you know, I low crawl, grab the spotter. Well, then I'm like, okay, Aaron, get your fucking shit together and become a guide again, you moron. I'm like, hey, buddy, when you take this first shot, if you miss at this distance, you fucking reload and you put another round in him immediately, okay? I'm like, unless you hit a rock by him, they are not going to know you are going to have a second shot. Now I'm like, you got it? And I'm like, dial the scope back, you know, whatever. Obviously, get around back in, dial the scope back, get fucking on him. Go ahead.
Well, keep going. I was going to interrupt you, but finish that. I have a question. I just don't want,
So, you know, and I'm walking him through it, and I'm like, where's the rest of your ammo? Because you were talking about a rodeo. He's like, what? What do you mean? He's like, I've got 3 in. And I'm like, oh, we may need, dude, like, weapons free, my friend. Like, fucking, I don't give a shit. Like,
it's go time.
Yeah, I was like, so
let's make it happen.
Yeah, we go back, we grab more ammo just in case, lay it beside him. And I'm like, look, man, whatever happens, you shoot until this thing's not moving, okay? And I'm like, you know, because that's a long ways down that canyon, right? It's a long ways back to camp. It's a 25-year tag. And I'm like, look, man, I'm not saying waste meat, but unload on it, like hit, like, and so, you know, I got that. Yeah, I got that ready, you know, whatever, because I knew we'd probably get at least 2 shots, which we did. So the other thing that I didn't get into this with him, but I'm not a huge proponent at that distance of extreme high power other than the first shot. First shot, 100%, dial it up. After that, honestly, for me personally at 450, 4 to 7, 4 to 8 power, more than enough for me. I don't need, if it's getting to be a dicey situation, meaning, you know, if I'm unloading rounds down range, it's going to be much harder to find the animal than anything. And so 4 to 8 power in that 350 to 5 for follow-up shots isn't optimal. But if it's somebody that's not great at target acquisition, I think it's, you know, somewhat overlooked.
That's the key. Yeah, that's going to come down to personal preference. I'm a high power guy, but I'm super good at target acquisition. So, but yeah, for anyone, starting off, just take a shot, roll it straight back down. That's when I'm laying next to guys that are, you know, prone or got it set next to them on a tripod or whatever. I'll just go back. Like, I did this a bunch in Africa. We were on, you know, buffalo and crocs and lions. We shot everything in Africa. And so I'm like, I get on the gun and I just roll it back and forth. Like, tell me when you like it. And I just, wherever he said he liked it, I'd go. And then after that first shot, you know, we'd adjust accordingly. If I look, I see where he liked it. If it's up high, then as soon as he shoots, if we need it, I crank it down. But guys don't know what they're doing, like, you know, 15, 18, 20, no problem. But if you know that, then we're not talking to you anyway. But yeah, the lower the power, even general, like, you can shoot a long ways at 6 power, 8 power, 10 power. I've said this before. I've shot a lot at 1,000 yards on 10 power. Like, it's totally doable. It's more of a mental thing than it's not an equipment capability thing. It's a mental thing where the higher the power, the easier it looks. You're holding on more of an animal. You pick a spot where if you put your crosshair on the right spot at 10 power, you're still going to hit the same spot. So it's more of a mental thing than an equipment thing in that case. But the more you practice, the more you'll get used to that. But I was going to ask, like, what was his, as just out of a curiosity from more of a guiding type thing, what was his discussion leading up to that? Did he talk about his capabilities? Was he bragging? Did he can shoot 600 yards? What was he like?
No, I mean, I always, you know, I do the same shit with everyone. I'm like, hey, you know, give me this is archery or rifle. Hey, what are you comfortable with? And he's like, man, you get me to 2, I got no excuses. And I'm like, dude, that's not good. But okay, what do you mean? Like, what, he's like, no, man, I'm good to 5. And I'm like, okay. He's like, but
really?
I'd like to get as close as possible. I'm like, no, I get it. So knowing that obviously was us dropping down and hoping they'd come out. And so, he said, I've shot a bunch out to 5. I feel confident there. I'm like, all right, cool. Not first choice, right? We're not, if we were able to
say that, that's what I was curious. Yeah.
Yeah. And well, the thing is like when you, I do not mind shooting far, rifle or bow, but specifically bow. But like when I talk to somebody and they ask me, I'm generally like, man, I'm pretty damn good at 80, obviously no wind and everything else. But I'm like, truthfully, depending upon this situation, flat ground, steep angle, I'm like generally within 80, I'm going to kill it. But don't roll up to 80 or roll up to 120 and say, well, it's not that much farther. 120 and 80 is a big fucking difference, right? So, So, and I'm like on follow-ups, I'm good out to 120, but if we can get within 80 and I got time, I'm good. So I try to handle that same way with clients of like, okay, what is your max, like if the stock is getting sketchy, right? If it's getting iffy, they're getting twitchy, they've seen some movement, what do we need to get you to? Pretty common sense. So he was not nervous. He was very calm. Like he was behind Blake and I. And when I was like, dude, I held up 500 just as a general number. They were closer than that. I'm like 5. And he kind of put his head to the side. And he's like, yeah. I'm like, all right. So we got up here. And so, I'm looking at it like, and I hope he doesn't listen to this because immediately I'm like, I should have brought
I hope he doesn't feel bad because I really feel for the guy. I love to. I mean, don't feel bad. We've all done dumb stuff.
Oh no, I've missed some shit.
I've had that bad luck. I don't even know if it was dumb. Taking a 450 yard, that's not a dumb thing. Like I don't know the whole story. I don't know what happened totally. So
my initial thing is I'm looking for bipods, tripods. I'm like, first thing I'm like, I should have brought my own fucking gun. Right. Like that was the first thing in my mind is damn it. And cause we had just, banged it out in my Canyon. I knew it was, it's good, whatever. I finally cleaned it. Anyway. So when we get over there, I'm pulling everything out of my pack humanly possible for if we need to pad it up for shooting position in the prone. And we had time. And so I ended up, I used that capture phone scope thing, I put the capture on, video it. I like that for impacts, right? It's very important. So the first shot he took, I was watching the animal. And it obviously was a bit high. So the second shot, I just left it on the record and watched him, and he shot, and I did not see any of the telltale signs, head lifting, squinch. I didn't. I'm like, all right, he looked fairly clean. I'm like, shit. And then the sheep ran off, and that was it. So, what do you do, right? Like say, hey, dude, what the fuck? Why do you have a Diamondback scope on? I didn't say anything. I was like, oh, it happens, man. Shit, I'm sorry. Whatever. And
no, that's all you can say. It's just
but dissecting it again. The misses that I've had, whether that's with a recurve or I haven't missed that much shit as with a rifle because I just don't shoot one that much. You look back and you think, okay, well, what went wrong, right? I would 100%. Say for most people, generally what went wrong is the Indian, not the bow, usually. And that's when I say that, meaning you didn't have enough practice, familiarity, you couldn't get on, you're not good at target acquisition. It's generally not the scope got bumped. It happens, 100% shit happens. But normally, and if you're listening to this and you're saying that's not true, well, you're probably really good at shooting and it's not true for you. But I would say with guiding and everything else, it's generally Indian and not the bow.
Absolutely. Could not agree more. For sure. Stuff happens, and that's where, a ton of stuff's been killed with, entry level scopes and stuff. It's just, and maybe it wasn't that. I'd love to shoot that gun. I'd love to know what happened, just because those are the best learning experiences because they come with the most pain. So you're most motivated to figure them out. Like the most I ever dig into, I haven't had any big, I've never had a big equipment failure on a hunt. I've had some rodeos and stuff that get taken care of relatively quick because generally can spot the shot, make some follow-up shots. But that's rare with all the, a lot of the stuff we've done lately. But some of my biggest stuff is like when I have I put a lot of pressure on the competition side, and I'm doing less comps than I have the last 10 years, just because we've been hunting so much. I'm actually getting ready to head up to Canada for a big PRS match tomorrow, but kind of getting back into that side of things. But some of the biggest learning is when stuff goes pretty sideways at a match, because a lot of pressure to win. It's really hard to win these big PRS matches and interval hunter matches. You cannot have any equipment issues. You can't have, everything's got to be perfect. And so some of the most like diving in and troubleshooting is where you learn a lot. And whether it's a reloading process or I can't even list the amount of things that can affect very like fine accuracy. It's endless, really. I'm still learning. We still have stuff come up that's crazy. So, but that's what it takes, is that pain to motivate you to fix stuff. And that's where it'd be fun to go through that gun. Okay, was it a gun? What was it? I don't like putting anybody on a padded front rest, a backpack. I don't care how good you think you are. You're not as good as a bipod. You're just not. And the rigidity of that, the way you don't have to load into it hard, but you can get that to where you can hold on the sheep's eyeball 500 yards. Like, you're not moving. And you can't necessarily do that with a pack, and you can't manage recoils well off of that kind of stuff. So, it would be fun to learn from. I hope that guy digs into it and goes and shoots his gun, and I'd love to hear, or maybe you already know. Maybe he has. I don't know.
I don't know yet. I was going to give him a call today. I will say, a good example of this, and then I'll have you hop off here in a little bit. I don't take you up your day, but archery side, I got 3 of the same questions because Nevada, mule deer, and some other shit's open. I got 3 of the same issues, messages recently, and they were almost identical. Aron, if I'm shooting extreme downhill angle shots and my rangefinder is not isn't like a loophole full draw 4 or 5 or the new SIGs where it's like it does a better job at angle comp. Would I miss low or high? And I'm like, what happened? He's like, well, I missed low. And I'm like, well, that's you. You would generally miss. You would miss high. So then, and these all 3 were the same. I'm like, hey, look, man. When you aim at steep downhill angles, you generally have peep fade because of the angle of your body, the string, and your eye.
The guys are dropping their arm instead of tilting at the waist, or what?
Well, I don't tilt at the waist. I just kind of draw back and shoot, but I'm very good at centering my peep on my housing.
Your peep.
So when you come out of the bottom of that peep, because of the angle of the string and how you're contorted, you peep fade. All 3 of them had the same general because I say go out and practice and see, and all of them basically said, fuck, that's what happened. Shit, I never thought of that. And you take in the anxiety and adrenaline, you're probably going to bury your nose in the string, which is going to make it even fade farther. Then you don't know, right? Plus you're probably worried about dropping your bow. Those are
and you're just seeing white. Like you get into that situation finally, and your ears are ringing, and you don't know what's going on. Like, the adrenaline gets going pretty much. Where I've been with some guys shooting some stuff, and they shoot, and they're like, I should tell a story. I don't know if I should tell it on here. I might have to tell you offline. But we had a situation in Africa with a guy shot. He does no idea what happened. Like I'm an extreme, like literally in the scope. He's made a bunch of good shots in the scope. Animal starts running off, moves 10, 15 yards, pulls the trigger. We're like, whoa, what are you doing? Like, I don't know what was going on. He's like, did I get it? I was like, he was not in the same. He left the state. Like, I don't know. But stuff. People's brains do weird stuff. So now you're trying to diagnose an issue when you don't know. You don't know what was going on. Like, some guys lose their shit. Like, it gets sporty sometimes in some of those situations. So.
Yeah. Oh no, there's nothing better when you come to a client. If you're hung back, or you've left him in a tree stand, and he don't know. Yeah, he doesn't know where he hit it. He doesn't know what direction it ran. He just knows he took a shot. And I'm like, you don't remember anything? Fuck, I'm nothing.
Where was he standing? You're like. I don't know. He's on the ground. I was like, oh, really?
Yeah. Oh, no. And the thing, putting yourself in those, I'm a big proponent of competition shooting. I know I say that. I've never shot NRL. I've just shot archery tournaments, but I do know how much the competition shooting helps. And the benefit of someone that was raised redneck-ish with a Red Ryder shooting squirrels, and that's one of the reasons I can shoot offhand so well, as I graduated from a Red Ryder to like a 10 pump to a CO2 to a Ruger 1022. And yeah, you were raised the exact same way I was. Whether I should have been shooting starlings and blue jays and shit, it made me a better hunter. That was my NRL as a kid, right? That's practicing doing that, and it gets you very good at target acquisition. If you 100%. Skipped all of that and just started hunting later in life, and you're someone
like a lot of guys are doing.
Oh, 100%. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's great. But I have to remember and remind myself of, hey, I've been doing this literally since birth, shooting gray squirrels and blue jays and shit that I shouldn't have been, a ton of other shit I shouldn't have been shooting. This guy just got into it, right? Or gal. And, you know, so then you got to go into the drilling, and the glory of shooting is taken away fast when your ass is running back and forth, dropping into the fucking prone, shooting over a rock. Like the fun may not be there for a lot of people, but you have to do it.
Yeah, no, and that's what training has done for me. Is guys are like, well, how did you find that in your scope so fast? I'm like, well, how did you not? Like, you just look at it, and you're like, oh wait, not that many people grew up that way, or had the reps that we did, and that's one thing. Like I have, like just dry fire, like grab a gun with a scope and pick anything out of a window and just aim at it and dry fire, aim at it and dry fire, aim at it. Just put your gun in your waist, throw it on your shoulder, and aim at it. And you will get to the point where it's automatic, but yeah, you have to do the reps. It's not hard, especially target acquisition type stuff. You can do from inside your house, looking out your window, anywhere. You don't have to go to a range. You don't have to do anything, but you have to do that, and it's going to help with your initial target acquisition. It's going to help with finding, like looking over the scope when animals running down the hill and putting it right back in the scope for a follow-up shot. Like, it helps a lot. Or, you know, getting charged by a bear or something. Like, it's nice to find a thing in the scope when you need to. So
yeah, no, and I mean, you'll hear I've made comments, make jokes, and I've had taken very poorly at times where somebody will say something like, oh, me? What do I think? I think I would have had 7 rounds in that already. What the fuck are you doing? Like, meaning, you know, like what, like I've put, like on this hunt, I put the sheep in the objective, the eyepiece, right, locked in, and it was a long ways away, and it took the person almost 15 minutes to find it in my objective. Right. And so is it bad, good, you know, nothing, you know, not everybody's great at that, but that definitely tells me what I need to expect potentially later on. And those are things like, and I get comments when we do a glassing class, like, why the hell would somebody pay for that? I'm like, people have no idea how to glass or grid or plan a stock, and you don't really realize how bad you are at it until, you know, come out here in my canyon and I put 15 3D targets in the canyon, and I put you at a seat and say, okay, you got 2 hours, find all the targets, they're foam. And, you know, and in 45 minutes, they don't have one marked. You know, there's a skill to it. It just takes practice. And, you know, and even then, once you find it, how do you stalk it? Like, what do you do? Like, you know, and those are the things that we try to, and that's again why I'm a big proponent of shooting schools, you know, bushcraft, not bushcraft, but wilderness, backpacking classes, land nav. You got to practice
all of it. The more I've been around, like, because I was like, oh, that's dumb. This is just marketing. This is dumb. Like, because I'm like, the more I'm around it, like, no. This is like, it's all the stuff you just take for granted. So I think it's dumb because it's like, you just do that, but you know, people don't do that. Even when I was at your place, I was out last year, we were shooting a little bit, and you were talking about stalking classes. Like, dude, I've stalked and shot a lot of stuff with my bow, but I could certainly learn from that. I was like, I should do that. Like, I would learn a ton because I don't do that a lot. Like, I've been freaking gunning stuff at distance, and it's easier. It's easier than stalking something with a bow. So even I was like, oh, that would be. There's a lot of things that you guys do, like on the archery side, it's awesome. So, I think a lot of the stuff we take for granted is super important. Glassing's hilarious. I've seen that play out over and over again on hunts where guys like, you seen anything? Or, yeah, you know, whatever. And then you're like, we haven't seen anything. I was like, there are deer everywhere in this unit. Like, you know, I don't know. It's funny, the stuff you grew up learning. So
no, I mean, generally when I hear that, I'm like, yeah, this place sucks. and just agree with them because but yeah.
No, that's the majority. You're right. Nothing here. You should go home.
No shit. But, well, man, anyway. We've been on for an hour and 20. Where can everybody find your adventures? Tell them about the rifle company and everything you got going on.
Yeah, I'm on Instagram at just Jon Pynch, JON PYNCH, and then follow Matt. He'll be good for a good laugh. Alwine Archer. Company's Mountain Forged. The Instagram is mtn.forged. So we're new ish. We've been around. We're learning a lot. Build mostly hunting guns. We've got some production, some PRS interall stuff, but mostly hunting stuff. But we got a lot of stuff coming. A lot of stuff we're working on quite a bit right now. Get some things coming out in a couple of months, and then hopefully in about 5-6 months, a big project we're working on. So anyway. So we're learning. This is Matt and I are not. We're not business guys necessarily. We are, but we're not. So we're learning a lot. We've got a lot coming. I'm excited about it. Hopefully someday I'll make some money and be able to pay my mortgage up from it. But we're having a good time, and I've been able to go on. You've been able to hunt a lot and learn a lot about all the North American stuff. I finished my 29 and did a bunch of, some crazy stuff I never thought would be possible. So that's been really cool, and doing a little bit of more stuff in Africa. I was over there with a friend. I think your buddy he picked him up yesterday. Recurve guy.
Yeah, Colton. Yep.
Going over there to South Africa. So I was there in Zimbabwe and stuff. Anyway, just you can follow along if you want. I don't post a lot. Try to post more. Matt, that's probably Matt and I's biggest argument. Yeah, he's like, hey, you ever going to post on your Instagram page? I was like, yeah, I'll work on that. So, but no, it's always good talking to you, man. I appreciate you. You've been awesome over the years. I'm glad seems like you're getting settled in pretty good over at DP, and it's been fun to see you be happy and excited about stuff. It's I enjoy that.
Yeah, no, it's been good, man, and I appreciate everything as well. Even Matt, I appreciate Matt.
Pass him on. He's heading to an elephant right now, so he's in no service right now. So
right on. Cool.
I'll let him know.
Oh shit. Well, cool, dude. Well, if I don't talk to you, man, good luck with the rest of the season. I'm sure we'll talk. Whatever. Keep each other posted.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, always good. Take care.
Later.